Good evening and welcome back to the Angry Cast and No Man's Sky, the Road to Riches playthrough. What we are doing is starting over a brand new world, ignoring all of the main quests and just going straight to making a shit ton of money by making the fusion igniters and stasis device to the tune of 20 each. And we are going to recap everything we have done up until this point because we have covered a lot of ground in 4 episodes. Of course, the first thing we had to do was escape the planet using our ship, fixing it, and taking it to the space station, which then let us fly to new planets in order to set up new bases and shelters with unlocking the parts that we needed to build bases with the salvage data on planets. The next thing we did was we became financially independent from having to buy any of the products we needed by digging up curious deposits that contained fungal mold and then refining them into nanoclusters, which we then used to unlock all of the recipes, and using the salvage data unlock all of the blueprints for construction modules and all of the items we needed to set up the rest of our bases. And then after that, we determined we could do small bases with atmosphere harvesters, oxygen harvesters, and autonomous mining units, but that wasn't good enough, so we set up bigger bases using mineral extractors and gas extractors and electromagnetic generators in order to have unlimited power and unlimited mining of gases and minerals from the planets that we are going to need in order to make our other bases, because we have a ton of bases that we had to build in order to fulfill all of our needs to build these products. So now with this item or this idea in mind, we have decided to go across the universe and set up bases for each one of the minerals, each one of the gases, each one of the resources that we will need in order to make our fusion igniters and stasis devices. And then once we get that done, next thing is we went back to the anomaly and unlocked the hazmat gauntlets in order to collect all of the large items on the planets, like frostwort on cold planets and fungal clusters on toxic planets, and the gamma weeds on the irradiated planets. And then there's also selenium on the heated planets. It's very hot there and they're very bright, but we need them all. And then of course we have paradise planets, which have the star bramble that makes star bulbs, and we're going to use all these things and we're going to plant them in our biodomes that we're going to create. But then of course there's also one last one called the echinocactus, which you don't need the hazmat gauntlets for, but you will need to collect them because they are important. And now we are up to date with everything we've done up until now. The next thing we're going to go do is go back and find a very good base to set up our biodomes in order to grow all of the things we've just collected. This is halfway point pretty much for what we have to do, and this is going to be the hardest part we have to do because we have to wait. We have to grow things, we have to wait until they're mature enough to collect, and then we have to make more of them. But there are ways around that which we will show you either now or in a future episode. So let's get to it, shall we? We are at the anomaly because we have got to unlock a lot more stuff that I didn't think about prior. That we're going to need for building everything at our very good base. So let's go to the construction research station. One of the main things we definitely had was the biodome, the glass-roofed corridor and the straight corridor, but we also need to get the L-shaped corridor, the X corridor, and the T corridor, definitely for those items as well. Some of these others, and also the square room, we're going to want to have that one as well. And we'll do the hollow door. We have 16 left. Let's see what we got left here that we want to make sure. We want to definitely get at least one of these containers because we're going to have to store some stuff. I think this is all we need. Oh, also, I definitely want to get the large refiner as well. We talked about doing the medium refiner at one point, and we're going to be doing that here real soon, but I think we need to set up our farms first. And then when we get into that, we can show you how to get more items in order to plant more of the agricultural stuff of these ones here. So let's head back to our very good base and check it out. A couple more stomps before we head to this to the base. One here is this this pretty much dead planet. You can tell dead planets because look how far you can jump, and you can fall just as far. You have to be careful. But primarily you can find rusted metal deposits, and as we've done before, we've set up a base with the the mineral deposits and power supply that is supplying all of this. So right down that way is that way, yonder, all the way over there. You can see barely is our our thing, our our power supply, and then off in that direction, you can't really see it over the ridge. There is all of the is the mining operation that all pipes it all back to this supply depot collection right here, and you can get up to 5,500 rusted metal. The reason why we're doing that 5,500 metal is because we need it for the we can make it into ferrite and then pure ferrite. Now, if you don't have the rusted metal one, like I said, there's a two-step process for refining the rusted metal into ferrite dust and then into pure ferrite. You can also use magnetized ferrite and turn that back into pure ferrite. From we have the one base that's the sulfurine mag or magnetized ferrite prime. That one I've got about, what do I got? I've got about, from one haul there, 8170, and that'll turn into about 16,000 pure ferrite. And the reason why I'm saying that is because these structures, although the biodem does take magnetized ferrite, which we need those for the plants, the structures themselves to connect them, or you can put stuff around in them, are pure ferrite by nature, except for the ones that need glass. So it's probably a good idea to have a healthy supply of either rusted metal to change into pure ferrite through ferrite dust, or magnetized ferrite to change into pure ferrite through a refining process, which will go backwards. And we will also show you a way to double all that with some oxygen in a later episode. All right, welcome to what I have called a very good base. I told you I was going to call it that. Pretty much, but it's pretty, it's humble right now. It's just one square cube room, whatever, which always is how we should start things. Square room, 250 pure ferrite. Got a door on it, and I've hooked it up to some power. It's running about 10K off of this, so my battery right now, I've got 60K with the oxygen gas extractor running, so that's 60K total out of a total 438K. Right now I've got three there are three generators over there right now, and it's going pretty well. What we're going to do is to show you pretty much what we're going to be building on this little area I have right here. I'm going to have room for some aquatic stuff as well, because we wanted to be getting probably for some minerals and such from the water. But here is where we're going to just set up our basic operation for the growing of our plants, which we need to have quite a few. We need to get some fungal mold, gamma root, some selenium, the star bulbs, cactus flesh, all that stuff built in here. And then once we have them a good operation here, I will then transport them to another location where we will have components, modular setups like we've done in the past. But for now, let's go ahead and get everything set up here, and then we can walk through. And again, if you want to go through the the quests themselves, expanding the base, that kind of thing, that will, you can build an overseer's terminal, do all that stuff, go to the space station, hire people, run through all those, and you'll unlock everything. But our whole entire point of this is to just bypass all of that, expand the base, and do all that without having to do those quests, so that we don't have to waste time with that, because those are very tedious by nature. But let me go ahead and get things set up, and then we will talk about planting. Okay, there's a bit of a storm going on outside, so we've had to retreat inward. However, I can show you through the power of photo mode what we have done. We've got 8 biodomes set up in order to do our farming, and we're going to those are basically magnetized ferrite and glass. Of course, the glass you will need to pick up frost wort in order to make glass. However, like I said before, there's alternate recipes for a lot of things. Right now, you can see here frost crystals, which we get from frost wort, are 40 of those will make some glass. However, if you refine the silica that you get from your terrain manipulator, that automatically goes in the glass. So let's do a couple of things here. First of all, we've got to install the hazmat gloves, because we will need to pick up the items like selenium and the frost bulb or star bulb and the frost wort and all those things they especially grow on each planet. So let's install that so we can go pick them up, because there are some around here. Also going to install the personal refiner, so that we don't have to continually go from, put down a new one. We can always, have one on us if we ever need it in a pinch. That saves us from having to build a new one each time. I'm putting in the rocket boots just because, but I have to build a hydraulic wiring for that. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'll do that offline. However, in order for us to grow everything, we will have to pick up the items. Now, of course, we did unlock the recipe for each of these things. So, okay, fine, frost wort. To make the glass, you need to get frost crystal and dioxide, which I have bases set up all over the place for the dioxide, and for phosphorus, and for paraffinium, and for pyrite, and all the items, the secondary items you need to make this uranium. But you also need to, like I said, you need to use the hazmat gloves to pick up each of these items. If you don't have the hazmat gloves yet, or haven't got that far down your playthrough, you can actually make the items that you need using their secondary element and some oxygen, which again, we're going to get into the whole entire how do we multiply items, but it's just a simple, we'll talk more about that for the next episode. But let's actually put in a large refiner. Oh, and I like to do freeze placement. I don't like that. I want it in a corner because I'm different. Just slap it right in the corner here, so it's kind of out of the way. I always do that too. So yeah, if we want to make frost wort, let's say frost wort comes on cold planets where you can also find dioxide. Dioxide by itself will make ferrite dust, much like anything else. However, we add a little bit of oxygen to it. We can make, for a 2-to-1 ratio, we can make a frost crystal, which we can then use to make glass. Let's say we want to make the other items. Let's see here, ammonia from toxic planets, fungal mold. Uranium, we'll make gamma root, radioactive planets. Hot planets, you probably need some phosphorus. Flammable, phosphorus will catch fire, exposed oxygen. Selenium. If you have pyrite, pyrite, where is the pyrite at? There's the pyrite. It'll make the cactus flesh. And paraffinium will make the star bulb. Have enough of those, and then you can plant them if you haven't picked any of them up. We're going to go pick them up to start off with, and then we will continue to grow them from there. Also, like I said, if you refine the silica dust, powdered silica or silicate powder, it will turn into glass as well. You need to, it's a 40-to-1 ratio, so for about 2,000 silica powder, you'll get about 50 glass, which I then, I think it was like 3,000, I think, to do all this, plus all of the biodomes. So we will get those set up and then talk more about the multiplication of other items, because of course we have ionized cobalt and condensed carbon in order to get to the next part of the recipes for making the stasis devices and fusion igniters. That'll be the last things we need to do in order to start building everything, and then we will be good to go. Of course, we will need the amounts, and we will go over that in the final couple episodes. The amounts that you're going to need in order to make 20 of each of these items. So that's it for now. We're going to get to work here and start planning everything and getting it all set up. We'll recap next time and go into the next step, and we'll be good to go. So we'll talk to you next time. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.